There we go. Yes, that's a decent one.
Yo, what's poppin'? Look what I discovered. I found this tiny stretch of creek. I've never fished here in my life, but I'm super stoked to see what might bite. Today, all I've got with me is my ultralight, and we're gonna do exactly what I love to do. I'm gonna ultralight fish for anything that bites. Based on the looks of this water, man, I'm really hopeful for creek chubs. That being said, there might be some trout in here too, which would be super cool. But the thing about creeks, man, you never really know what you're gonna find, and that's why I love fishing them so much. So enough yipping and yapping. Let's start casting and blasting. Let's go.
If you've been watching the channel recently, you already know that I'm gonna fish with this ultralight float rig. I've got this little honeyworm on there. As you know, I love honeyworms, and I love fishing them under these little floats. It's a lot of fun. If there's creek chubs here, I'm gonna destroy them. If there's trout here, I might just catch some of them too, which would be awesome. Also, as you can see, I'm wearing my waders, and as you know, I'm just prepared to get my right foot wet because there's definitely a hole in my waders. I don't really care. It's not that cold out, so I think I'll be okay. I'll survive. There's just something about fishing water that I've never fished in my life that is just always so fun to me. I love just trying to catch fish in a location where I can't even prove if there's actually fish there until I go and try it. So far, I haven't seen any kind of channel swing or anything. It's just been a straightaway, which is not exactly ideal. I need to find some kind of bend in the river. Once I find that, I have a feeling I'll find a pool and I might just find some fish. So I just got to keep moving and grooving. That's part of fishing new waters, man. You just got to break it down. You got to be out there exploring. That's half the fun, man. Put in the time, put in the effort, you'll find the fish. Look at this beautiful pool. How is there not a fish in this pool? Despite the fact that this has been challenging so far, I'm still confident. I almost wonder if the current's just a little too heavy right here for creek chubs. This is truly mind-boggling, folks. My mind has officially been boggled. No way. Oh my gosh, I have worked so hard for this. I mean, I've been out here for quite some time. I'm running out of time, and I finally got Mr. Creek Chub to bite, which is beautiful. I mean, I'm stoked to catch him, but he totally threw me off. I looked down and my bobber was just gone, so I set the hook. Glad I did. Gotta add the Creek Chub to the MULE multi-species challenge. It's the first one of 2021 for me. All right, Mr. Creek Chub, see you later. I don't know why it took so long, but the good news is we caught one. I gotta believe there's more in there. Yes. No. Well, my bobber went down and I set the hook and it was not a fish. I was excited though. I definitely thought it was a fish. For this being super skinny like this, I'm not counting any water out at this point. Something was biting it. That had to have been a creek chub. Yes, there he is. All right. I love this. This is so fun right here. I came up here in this super skinny water to find this little guy right here. Between yesterday and today, I went ahead and switched back to my bread and butter. I like the red color a little bit more. Man, I'm fishing such a strange location. Beautiful little creature. Got him. There's just a bunch of little dinks. Persistence pays off, baby. I'm just trying to be super stealthy right now because we're in an area with just like super skinny water. Like, it's ridiculous. There's a little pool right up here, and I'm super stoked I found this. I covered a lot of ground to find this spot. I'm gonna move my bobber up a little bit. It seems like this is a pretty deep pool. There's one playing with it. Oh, probably a really small fish. There we go. Yes, that's a decent one. Love to see it, boys. Love to see it. Yesterday was such a challenge, and today we're kind of getting some payoff. I put in some serious work yesterday. I only got one fish. Well, we've already got like 3 today, so I'm pretty pleased. People clearly throw pennies here. They probably never think to fish this spot because it's just this tiny creek, but sometimes these little tiny creeks can pay off. And if you're open to fishing for species that aren't necessarily known as sport fish, you can catch fish all year long, baby. Oh, they flick this thing like crazy. This is why I like fishing for these fish. They can be kind of challenging. It's fun watching that bobber just flick. He's got it. Oh, I missed him. How did I miss him? I don't know. I set the hook just about a split second too late. Yes. You know, when you're fishing for these little tiny things like this, setting the hook on these little mouths like this can be a real challenge. As you can see, I popped him really good, but I bet you this fish has doinked it about 20 times. Throw him back up in there in that pool. As you can see, I'm standing in this just super shallow water, and if I dropped him in here, he wouldn't be able to get back to the pool that he was sitting in, so I want to make sure I release him back in the same pool that I get him from. Man, I tell you what, it is hard to hide my excitement. I am super thrilled right now. Yes. I'm trying my best not to spook these fish. Clearly, they're not that spookable, but at the same time, this is a beautiful little magical hole. It's pretty much about 8 feet in front of me. That is a gorgeous specimen right there. Can we just like appreciate this guy? Holy cow, he is beautiful. I love it, I love it. That is one of the prettiest creek chubs I've ever seen in my life. And look at that hook set too. Respect. Respect the hook set, folks. Back to your pool. There we go. Yes. I have not caught that. Oh, okay, well, he is going to live in a different pool moving forward. This is the weirdest, coolest spot. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm just destroying them right now. This pool is magical. Man, that guy is just so pretty. I'm gonna name little buddy Shiny because he's very shiny. You know what, actually, I'm gonna name you Penny because there's pennies everywhere. All right, see ya, Penny. Come on, come on. Oh my Lord. Just bobber downs for creek chubs, baby. I have absolutely redeemed myself. Yesterday was totally garbage. Today, wonderful. This is a beautiful fish as well. Very dark. Darkest fish I've caught all day. This is Penny's cousin, Nickel. Okay, let's see if we can catch their grandmother Dime, and then maybe, if we're lucky, we can catch Quarter. You know, I still have the goal of catching a 13-inch creek chub. Oh my Lord. How are there this many fish in one tiny little pool? Oh my gosh. You know what? They're all about the same size. They're all pretty much juvenile little creek chubs. I gotta find that 13-incher. One of these days I will. Gimme the greasy. Ready, steady, spaghetti. Yes, gotcha. I am just getting so excited right now. Just so many of these little guys. You know what I'm actually gonna do? I'm gonna stick my GoPro in this pool. That'll be epic. I am so glad I stuck this out. I've got some important lessons to talk about here in a second, but first let's get some underwater footy.
Okay, I tell you what, today's mission totally brings up a great lesson. If you want to get good at fishing, no matter what the species, muskie, walleye, creek chub, it doesn't matter, there are a couple of traits that you need to have. One, you gotta be an adventurer. You gotta be willing to go out and try new places. By going to new places and trying new things, you are absolutely gonna grow as an angler, and that, my friends, is why I love doing it. I am not content going to the same spot every time. I love adventuring. It's half the fun for me. The next thing is you gotta be willing to work your tail off and out-suffer the next angler. What I mean by that is when you're going and you're adventuring and you're trying these new spots, it's not always gonna pay off right away. Yesterday I came out, it was a struggle. I was out for an hour and a half or so. I caught literally one tiny creek chub. Today, I continued the pursuit. I kept going upstream. I kept looking for different water, and I found this spot, and I tell you what, it happened fast. I found this one pool, and bada bing, bada boom, baby. We started catching a bunch of creek chubs. Now, I know these are creek chubs, but I tell you what, the same principle absolutely applies to all species. Regardless, I tell you what, that tiny, tiny pool is absolutely my new best friend. I'm a huge fan. I cannot believe that it paid off that big. The amount of creek chubs in there is unbelievable. You see all that water behind me? I have not explored it yet, so let's keep exploring. I've got a little bit of time left. Let's go.
It feels so much better to catch fish when you put in a little bit of extra work for them. We live in a world that the culture, we're just plagued with this sense of instant gratification. Everybody wants instant gratification with literally everything. But here's the thing with fishing, and one of the reasons that I absolutely love it, and one of the reasons I will always love it forever and ever, there's no such thing as instant gratification with fishing. If you truly like fishing, the happiness truly comes from the pursuit, the failure, the failure, the failure, and then finally the reward. It feels so sweet when you work your tail off and it finally pays off. Man, I could preach about that all day long, but I tell you what, I gotta go find some more fish. Lots of small fish. I don't know what they are. They are like 2 inches long. Okay, this water's getting skinnier and skinnier. I don't know what to think. This is the narrowest creek I've ever fished, I think. No way. Oh my gosh, I love this. I love this so much. Literally finding fish way up this freaking creek. It's just so crazy how these fish can live up here, man. Every single time I find myself in places like this, catching fish, I just have to kind of pinch myself because it's just so weird to me that fish can live in these ecosystems. It's kind of sad because you see trash everywhere, really. This is sketchy. Come on, creek chub. The things that I do, the things that I do for creek chubs is unbelievable. Go under. I had a bite right here. Where'd he go? We're running out of daylight right here, and I've got a little bit of a hike back to my car.
Okay, I gotta hike it back to the car because I tell you what, we're running out of sunlight again, and it's getting dark out. Here's the thing. I love fishing tiny creeks. I love the fact that fish can not only just live in places like this, but thrive in places like this. It's crazy how many fish I caught in one tiny little pool today, and I tell you what, it's all because I worked hard and I kept exploring. I encourage you as an angler, always be willing to explore new spots and put in a little bit of hard work, because I guarantee you this, when you catch those fish, no matter what species you're chasing, it's gonna be that much sweeter. I promise you that. Anyways, let's get back to the car. I'm gonna go eat some leftover soup. Been eating a lot of soup this year. Huge fan of soup. Not gonna complain about soup. You can't complain about soup if you live in Michigan, man. The Michigan state food should be soup.